What's up, y'all? We are headed to Adam's shop, a buddy of mine, to install some gauges on a Subaru. And yep, got Dylan with me, shaking his head. Yep, he's totally embarrassed. Red-faced all day long. Old dad embarrassed him. That's awesome. So anyways, we're headed down now. We're gonna go goof off today, have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks important. Extra wiring. These are actual gauges. Air, fuel, oil pressure, and one of these oil pressures he says for fuel pressure. One goes to 150, one goes to 100. Not too sure which one was which. I'm going to have to ask him. Well, we're going to get these gauges and those pods wired up in this car today. I'm going to grab our fuel pressure here off this regulator. I was told the other harnesses already ran for oil pressure and O2 sensor. I'm guessing that's up there. This will be fun. But the shop is warming up. Furnace, full-size furnace.
Need it.
So excited. Adam said he came in this morning, it was 30 degrees.
Alright, you want to see?
Now I'd say we're up to 40 or 50. Sorry. So we're getting there. As soon as he gets this thing up on the lift, we're going to verify the wiring on the underside is good and in good positions. And then that way any extra slack that we have in the harness on the engine side, we can move into the dash area, because I think we're going to have to shoot across and then up and then find our fuse panel to get our powers, 12 volt ignition, grounds. Obviously we put a ground anywhere we want. But this is a whole dang process. It's like lowered car life. Gotta jack it up, get the lift under it, bring it up. Forgot about the train track right next to us. And I almost,
what's going on?
I almost peed a little bit. Alright, so we had, oh look, he zip tied it. Good deal.
Yeah, so
That's what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure that was on a safe spot.
And don't forget that.
There's your sensor. Oh. Summer long. Dude, what a terrible place for your master cylinder.
Thank you.
Jeez.
So wait, you wait for building this car is fine. Yeah, that's really bad. That looks like his. Here, don't. I'm gonna.
Well, can you guys see what's going on in here? We've got a mess of wires coming through, but it's really not that bad. We've already labeled everything. And then, I guess everything's labeled. So oil pressure. What is this one? Fuel pressure. So everything marked. We gotta get our gauge area mounted and figure out where we're gonna come up through the dash. And then our fuse panel's over there, so we're gonna grab our power and grounds over there. We just need ground, 12 volt constant, and then a 12 volt switch, ignition switch. So I'm gonna dig around in there and see what's hot and what's not, and I'll bring you back for some updates when I figure stuff out. Okay, so as far as the wiring goes, it's gonna be a little bit easier than what I even thought. Because according to this, we just need a switch 12 volt and ground. And then we got the sensor going to where it needs to go. And that's optional stuff right there, so we're going to go ahead and grab a lead. And our fuse panel here, we're just going to go ahead and grab one of those for our switch 12 volt. Because just about every single one of those in there is a switch 12 volt. And we're going to go ahead and use one of these guys. Gotta find which one's the correct one to use still. But this will go into, we'll take the fuse out and then plug that guy in. And the fuse that was in there we'll put in there, and then we'll put our fuse in there. And then we have our lead for 12 volt switch, or what do they call it, ignition 12 volt switch, whatever. And that'll run to all three of our gauges for our 12 volt switch, and then we'll run our separate wire for our ground, and that's it. The hardest part about this whole thing is going to be routing it up through this dash, because we're going to come from that side up to the gauges. He's got a pod that's going to go up here, and our 12 to go up there too. So you're looking to getting that radio out, kind of getting that dash apart there in the middle, and figure out how we're going to route it up through there. So I have no idea about these dashes and how they come apart, but I'm definitely going to let this interior warm up a little bit before I start yoinking on the trim panels, because this ain't my car. So we're going to plug this down here, run our wire under the dash and up through here, and our gauge is going to be mounted right through here. So we can run our harness down through here and hook up our powers, and we can grab a ground. Looks like right back there. You can't see it, but I promise there's a spot to put a ground. Alright, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. Okay, so the harness that comes with the kit isn't long enough once we ran it through the engine compartment stuff. So once we got up under the dash, I went and just made this extension here using the same color wires that's in the harness for the gauges, so I don't mix them up, because that's just what I do. So go ahead and get these extended and then get them in, blah 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 blah. Get them ran up behind the dash. That's what dude's over here doing right now. Getting things prepped to run up through the dash. So we're pushing through. We're pushing through. It's already been a couple hours, believe it or not. So we're going. We're going.
Here are electronics, right? Over to this edge and to this edge.
Yeah.
Right here here and here is just straight plastic that we could drill through and would be easy to access. If you just reach your hand up and under there, you can curl around that back part that you can see there.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
cool.
just spitballing.
That works.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, that should work as long as we can gain access. If we can,
Yeah, and
you can feel it back there. Can you feel that back there?
yeah, I mean, if you just reach your hand up under there real quick, you can just feel it real quick.
Oy!
Just reach.
Oh, yeah, room for
that's what
days.
I'm saying. Yeah, tons of room. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. It'd
Yeah.
be super easy to. You could even bring the power
I was gonna
through on
say,
this
yeah,
side,
do
too.
power and ground out through here, and then
Yeah,
our harnesses come
exactly,
through here.
and then it's all up here, and it's not messing with the radio stuff,
yeah.
and we can put that back, right?
I'm down. I like it.
Cool.
We got our harnesses extended, nice and cleanish, and we just gotta run that up through the dash and right through there. He's coming along. It's not really interesting to watch. It's cut, crimp, so but it's coming along. We're gonna run all up through there, plug everything up, make sure everything works before we get everything set in place there. So. I'll be back in a minute. So we got our harnesses ran up through. Ran up through the dash. That was not fun. And then we're going to. Adam says he's going to drill a hole right here and over in this corner, because I guess right here is a clock and temperature gauge and stuff, and you didn't want to take that out or mess with any of that because it also has the airbag light in it. So hole here, got power ground come up here, our gauge connectors come up through here, and the gauge pot will sit right here, and we'll plug it up. So I think we're going to do a quick plug and test first before we secure everything, our leftover harness that we're going to wrap up, zip tie, and tuck up underneath between the firewall and the plenum box. So we'll go ahead and let Adam drill that out, because it's not my car and I'm not drilling into someone else's car. Alright, so we got our power coming in, switch 12 volt, which is fused. Nice good ground going to body. Got our connectors going up to each of our gauges, coming up through these holes, coming up down through the dash right down there, and then going through this hole and going down that way. So we're going to do a quick test. We're going to set that down on here, and we'll worry about fitment here in a minute. I just want to make sure this stuff comes on. Where's this dude's keys? They're up here. Let's see if they turn on. Hey, they turn on.
That's the problem we had before, is that one's pegs.
Turn the wipers off.
I don't know how.
There you go.
Well, they come on though.
That one's ready.
Yeah, but look right here though. That's probably going to be a
that was
the
same
setting,
problem
though.
we had before.
We'll have to read the instructions. I just want to make sure they come on.
They do.
That one's not going to come on at all because it's not plugged up to nothing.
Yeah.
But we can
And then-
check the other one by plugging them in to the other one.
Air fuel ratio, it is reading something. Is it okay to fire this up?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Should warm up and then start sweeping. Oh wait, no, these don't sweep. It's a wideband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, widebands don't sweep. Well, it's reading all of the oil pressure.
is on the sandwich right between the filter and the lock.
Yeah. I'm wondering. That usually means something's unplugged. So I'm going to check that connection, which does work. I'm going to check the connection at the oil pressure sensor here in a little bit. But we have it, they all work. So I think we're good to go and mount it and put everything back together. Because the problem's going to be out there. If it did it before, when everything was just sitting there, then we know it's not a problem with this area here. Most likely it's going to be a messed up connection at the sensor or the sensor itself, something like that. So
That's what I was thinking.
let's go ahead and let you boys get that cleaned up a little bit. I gotta stand up for a minute.
We can always unplug that.
Well, I saw another sensor laying over here. Was that for the fuel?
For the fuel, yeah.
Is it a different type of sensor? So that is,
It'd still be oil. It'd still be pressure. We could try it. If that one doesn't work,
I wonder if we could
plug the other
swap
one
it,
in.
or if it in fact did matter, and they got switched at some point. I'm not sure.
Possibly.
Does that look like the other one did?
100 psi. The other one says 150.
Yeah, it's just a different PSI reading, which is fine.
And that's the one that we want?
This is for the fuel.
That is for the fuel. Okay.
Yeah, but it would still
The fuel,
read a
the
pressure.
fuel
Yeah, yeah.
only goes to 100,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is what this is, and the other one says 150 on it.
Gotcha. I need a schematic. I'm going to look at these books real quick and do a little research while you're doing all that. I'm going to do a little reading. See if we can figure something out. Okay. So as for the oil pressure gauge, was reading just flat out pegged. And we unplugged it from the oil pressure sensor. We unplugged it from the gauge. We checked to make sure none of the three wires were shorted to each other. We checked to make sure none of them was shorted to ground. And then we went ahead and ohm tested each wire, all three of them, from the sensor connector to the gauge connector, and we had 0.03 ohms on all three of them. So those, we completely proved out the harness. We hooked up to a different gauge. The gauge also read maxed out, so okay, we know it's not the gauge issue. So what else is left, right? We plugged up another sensor that we had for the fuel pressure that we don't have hooked up yet. So the only thing left is what? What's left, right? Well, we found that we know that this connector is good because we plugged up the 100 psi sensor to it that's going to go in the fuel pressure regulator, and the gauge read 0. Right? It didn't read maxed out or anything, it read 0. So we know that this connection's good. So we look back here at the pins, and we have black, red up here next to each other, and the bottom of the pyramid is green. Well, underneath there, I'm not going to show you because the lighting is terrible. Underneath there, the red wire and the green wire are flipped. So from the factory, these two wires are flipped. We finally figured it out. So there, Adam says he's going to send him a nasty email about that. Aren't you?
Yeah.
So instead of trying to repin it underneath the car and possibly mess up the connector, trying to release the little latches or whatever, I'm just going to go inside the car there where I put the extensions in and cut and swap the red and the green wire, and then plug everything back up, and it should be good. So we'll let you know here in just a minute. Now the oil pressure gauge is working properly.
Finally.
Pinned wrong from the factory, man. Oh my goodness. And of course course, we don't have oil pressure hooked up yet. But
Fuel
we plugged
pressure.
the fuel pressure. What did I say? Oil pressure?
Yeah.
Dag on it. The fuel pressure gauge is not hooked up yet, but we got good air fuel ratio. Amazing oil pressure.
Oh yeah.
Goodness gracious. That is nice. Boost gauge is working. Sweet. Alright, let's shut her down before we die. It's smoky in here. Whew. Alright, we're going to get all that mounted up, get our wired harness cleaned up, and call it Dunsky. Let's go. Wrong pins.
Crazy.
Pinned wrong from the factory.
So crazy, man. Unbelievable.
Ugh.
Tell me when. Ready to go?
Yeah, go fire it up. Why do those wipers always want to come
I
on?
know, right?
Yeah, it looks really good in there. Oh, you got a picture of your car on that thing? That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that looks good.
Sweet.
Here we go.
Alrighty. I'll call this one done. Dunsky. You happy?
Yeah! Gauges by Steve.
Say cages by Steve. No. No. Alright guys, we'll catch you on the next one.
Alright, so hello, my name is Adam DeLong. I work at DeLong Insurance. Ha! Call me for a quote. But no, this is my 2008 Subaru STI. I purchased it in 2019 with 12,000 miles and then drove it until it had 52,000 miles. It has seen one track event and then the engine blew. And so it sat for a year and a half until I was able to put a new engine into it and have some stuff done to it. When I first purchased it, it had the Cobb air intake, had a turbo excess blow-off valve, and I think the injectors were messed with a little bit, but there wasn't a whole lot done to the engine aside from an off-the-shelf tune. When I got it, I wanted to make sure it was reliable because it was going to be somewhat of a daily driver during the summer. So I worked with Contras Motorsports, got it, I had an AEM high flow fuel pump, I had a boost controller, the Radium Engineering fuel pressure regulator, injector dynamics, 1050cc injectors put into it, and then I had it tuned by Brian Mundy, who was able to tune it. It worked great until the engine blew, and then I got an out front Motorsports engine with, it's a closed deck EJ257, it's their V3, it's a long rod short block, it has 1/2-inch head studs. It comes with the JE Pro Seal head gaskets, Killer Bee Motorsports oil pan with the baffle. It has Turning Concepts cam bolts, OEM oil cooler and oil pump. And then I also installed a Perrin air oil separator, and then put a ACT Streetlight flywheel and 6-puck race clutch onto it. So currently it sits, I would say, at about 350 horsepower. I've not had a chance to do anything with it. I am still breaking in the engine. It has less than 100 miles on the brand new engine. With the engine break-in, I was told you have to keep it under 4,000 RPMs, keep it under 5 pounds of boost for at least the first 1,000 miles, and you have to do an oil change at 100 and 500 miles with conventional break-in engine oil. And after that, you can change to synthetic. I will be putting in the Rotella T6, as I was always told is the best for this engine. And hopefully it goes on track in April at Road America in Wisconsin for a time trials regional event put on by Indy's SCCA time trials. So fingers crossed, hopefully you see me there, and hopefully I have some mad pics and videos to follow it up. So this is the old engine that I blew up. As you can see, a normal piston has no issues. Now there's a lot of oil in there, but you know, that is probably to be expected. However, this one is where I had the ringland failure and had blow-by that blew up the piston and the wall. Now, luckily, the wall does not look very scored, so we should be able to sleeve it up here. Can you get a good angle of that? Up there, right there, yeah. So that, as you can see, is where the wall is scored, and we should be able to sleeve that on the inside, and we should be able to rebuild this engine at some point and make it run again. So that's the long-term 10-year project, we'll say.
What if you were to take this and put it in your Volvo?
That's something that we have actually talked about.
You want to talk about your Volvo real quick?
I sure can.
Let's check out the Volvo.
So this is my 2002 Volvo S60. This is the second car I've ever owned, first car I've never totaled. I have owned this car for 20 years, since I was 17 in high school. My first car was a 99 Mercury Cougar V6 with a 5-speed manual transmission. The day before my 16-and-a-half birthday, I pulled out in front of somebody and was broadsided, sent to the hospital, wasn't expected to live, and I did. So when my mom had to replace my car, she said, I'm getting you the safest car on the road. And I said, as long as it's a stick shift. So this is one of the very few Volvos that is actually a 5-speed. So it is a stick shift. I did the paint and the gauges in there is all my custom work that I fiberglass manufactured, bondoed, sanded. Got odometer gauges all the way around. I have a fuel pressure gauge to go there that I'm sure you'll be helping me out with at some point.
Oh yeah.
Got an aftermarket Alpine head unit with the nav. Oh no, this is fairly recent. Columbus
really?
Car Audio put it in around the same time they put in that Bluetooth thing.
Nice.
So, and so this is my project car. Doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but it certainly is fun. Has a really nice paint job, if you can see the sparkle in that at all.
Yeah.
Sparkles blue and purple.
Sure is.
That is actually 3 coats of crushed glass mixed into the clear coat base black Volvo paint.
Wow.
It is dirty because it's been sitting here for a while, but then you can see I have absolutely nothing done to the engine except an aftermarket Spectre air intake and some custom-made fuel box, but
Did you make that?
actually my friend Andrew Deem made that. But this is
Out your friend Andrew.
yep, this is my inline 5 Volvo.
5-speed.
5-cylinder,
That's fun.
non-turbo, puts out about 180 horsepower, but
It's safe.
it is safe and it sure is fun.
It's got wipers on the.
It does have wipers on the headlights.
Why?
What do you mean, but why?
Are they functional?
Yes, they're
Really?
functional, yes. Mm-hmm.
But why?
Because it's a Volvo.
Okay. Sunroof.
Yep.
Can you please explain this wing? I'm not hating on it. I actually love it. I think it's cool, but
So I wanted something that went with the body line. At the time, I wasn't allowed to get an aluminum or carbon fiber rear wing that, you know, kicked up a whole lot and was all, you know, race-like. So this was
a safeguard.
Yes. So this was the next best thing. This is actually what you would find on a typical Mach 1 Mustang. It's a part made by JSP, which I don't think exists anymore. It's like Japanese sport products or something. But it is fiberglass and it is heavy. Now, if you want to see it actually open, and you can see,
Oh my gosh, I see how hard you're having to.
and then if you go along the side, so if you see around there that it flips up like that,
Oh wow.
and then you can see how the actual wing sits on the glass.
Ooh.
So you gotta be real
Yeah.
careful with it.
I didn't know the trunk lids could go back that far.
Normally they don't, but this one has that's stock how it flips back like that.
Okay.
And now, you go ahead and hold that.
Oh my gosh.
How much does that weigh, Steve? What do you think?
30.
40 pounds? Yeah. That is downforce, baby.
Front wheel drive.
Oh
That's
yeah,
how we roll.
that is.
Woohoo. I like the size of that fart can compared to the one on that car.
Uh-huh.
It's like tiny compared to that
It
one.
is, yeah. I used to have a bigger one.
What happened to it?
It rusted out because it was about 20 years old.
Very cool.
So I might put the Subaru engine into it. However, when I was growing up and I put the body kit on it, everybody would always ask me, "Oh, is that an Evo?" Because it says Evolve all the way around. And I said, no, it's a Volvo. Because Evolve is the company that made the body kit. They have since changed their name to Elevate,
Gotcha.
and they work exclusively with Volvos.
Interesting.
So, my plan, since I've been in high school, was to put a 4G63 Evo engine into my Volvo. Engine, transmission, subframe, all of it.
You can get them for $5,500, $6,000 online. The
Yeah.
whole setup with computers and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is the long-term goal. And that's about the 20-year project for this. But it has never been done, nor will ever be done. So it will literally be a unicorn car. So.
Maybe someone will comment and be like, "No, my cousin Teddy did it last year."
They be from Alabama, right?
I don't know if I can laugh at that or not.
All right.
Well,
So-
I think it's about time to get out of here.
Well, want to say thank you to the many people that have helped me build this. Special call out to Justin Iman. I met him once in August at a track event at Pit Race and told him what I was going through. He had friends with Subarus the same year with the same EJ engine and only met him that one night. So, right after I got my engine back from out front, I got a text from Justin asking me if I wanted him to come help me put the engine together. Of course I said yes, and so the Friday and Saturday after Christmas, he gave me a wonderful Christmas present and helped me put the engine into the car. And when we started it up at the end of 2 grueling days here at the shop, it ran.
Yes. It sounded good, too.
It did. So,
Really good.
Now we are waiting to get the first 100 miles on it so we can do the first oil change and then get right back out on the road, on the track. That's right. Perrin Performance.
Never heard of it.
They're the ones that did this, and they did my
Catch can.
my air oil separator. So, and this was actually this plate. It's a guard plate for the radiator. It was actually a gift from Justin, who helped me put the engine in. He said, I've got an extra one and doesn't fit my car, so here you go.
What surprises me the most is that all of your bumper clips are actually
There, yep.
Yeah. Cool, man.
All right.
Very cool.
Well, thank you very much for all of your help today. It has been a blessing and a half.
It's been fun. I love doing this kind of stuff, especially when you're not in a hurry.
Yep.
You got all day.
Yep. Take your time, do it right, get it done.
You want to promote your insurance company one more time?
DeLong Insurance, give me a call.
What's that number?
740-474-6055.
For all your insurance needs.
All your insurance needs. And I couldn't have done it without my friend Nick, who was instrumental in helping me organize the entire engine, put it all in its place where it should be ready to go, getting torque specs for Justin, everybody all the time.
Running back and forth.
And then everything after Justin left, he's been the one helping me figure stuff out. So couldn't have done it without him. Thanks, buddy. You can cut that out. You can just cut it off right here. Would you tweak at my nipple? Thanks for watching.